Hello and welcome to the Family Business with the Alessis, where family is everybody's business. And today we're going to bring you one of our best of episodes, a classic where Steve and Mary Alessi share what they hate about the way they talk to each other. And you're going to hear some great moments in this. This is one of our most downloaded and most commented on episodes. So you're going to want to pay attention to each moment, some of them that you might remember if you're an experienced audience member. And if you're new to our audience, this is going to be a great introduction to the dynamic between Steve and Mary and their marriage. Let's listen in to our classic, I Hate It When You Talk to Me That Way.
Welcome to another edition and episode of our Family Business Podcast with Steve and Mary Alessi, because family is everybody's business. And we're talking today about things that we dare not talk about on Sunday.
Oh, boy.
We'd probably lose half our church if we had this real, open, honest discussion that we're going to have. And I'll kick it off for you in just a minute as to the title. But Mary, I'm having fun doing the TFB. You see
love
it on the
this.
screen over there?
I saw that. That's
What's
very
the
cool.
TFB stand
the
for?
Family Podcast.
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 There you go. The Family Business, because everybody knows podcast is spelled with a B.
Is that right?
The Family
Podcast.
Business. TFB.
See what I did there?
Yep, she's quick. So it actually takes a nice little family to put this on. This is really cool that we're doing this.
Yes.
We have Jonathan in the room there, and sometimes he likes to come across.
We are a family.
Like he can talk to us. And then Alan Paul
He tries to come across like he can talk to us. You mean like bosses around?
Boom. He'll just pop
like
right
this.
in.
There
I
it
can
is.
just
Like that.
pop
There
in
it is.
and talk.
Oh, I see.
See,
I
pop
got it.
in to talk. And then we got Alan Paul in the back. He's the brains. And
He is the brains.
he's really got a good heart for this. I love it and his knowledge. And then Ashley is inside on her cameras. And
She's
hopefully, if y'all are listening to this but not viewing it, there is a way that you can view it as well. So you may want to go ahead and check out what Pastor Mary's wearing today when you
Or
get
what
to
I'm
view
chewing.
it, or her chewing.
Sorry, I was
Or
just
the
eating a bar.
Nice, bright pink shirt that I'm wearing today.
Very nice and pink.
That'll help some
Looks
people
good.
view this beautiful. So Mary, I love this. This is like really the new.
This fires you up.
It really does.
I know.
It's
I
like
like
hunting all over again.
Oh, boy.
It's my new thing.
But it's way cheaper.
That's true. But very excited about doing the podcast with you. So here's what we're trying to do, since we want our podcast to be about families.
Yes.
Not just working together in business, our business being ministry, but also the business of family. What happens when you're at home, and how you're dialoguing and working out your marriage, working out raising the kids, and handling all those things that go along with it. So today we're going to make it a little bit more interpersonal. And the way we dialogue is husband and wife at home and communicate with each other. And we're not communication specialists here.
No.
So we're just going to talk like where we live. Okay. And here's the title.
Us around a little bit. See the inside. Got it.
Here's the title of this podcast. You ready?
Okay, no.
Here we go. I hate when you talk to me that way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know that feeling? Do you know those words?
I'm feeling those words right
You're
now.
feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why we can't talk about this on Sunday, because people would not like that we use the word hate. And
True,
they could not imagine you talking to me in such a way that would make
Could
me
imagine me going,
hate what you're
I
saying.
hate it when you talk to me that way.
They would not be able to imagine that.
They'd be like, Pastor Steve.
Oh my gosh. Yes, because Pastor Mary has such a long fuse. Not true.
I
You don't
have a
have a
long
fuse.
fuse.
You don't have a fuse.
I have a fuse.
You do.
I just don't let anybody see it.
So here's where this came up.
Okay.
In our bathroom, it's set up where on one side of the bathroom you have your vanity.
Yep.
On the other side is my vanity.
Yep.
And we have two big mirrors in front of our vanities, and we can look in our mirrors and see each other bending over when we're brushing the teeth,
hilarious.
right? It's stupid. So
We see the backs of each
we
other's
see the
heads.
backs of each other's heads.
Yes.
So we'll get into conversations sometimes, and when we're at our individual vanities, being vain,
Being very vain.
and it happened a few weeks ago that we were talking about something, and it's so stupid because I can't even now remember what we were talking about. But
Did we have a fight?
evidently, because that's where this phrase came from in my head. And I'm like, we're going to do a podcast
Oh
about
my
this.
gosh. Thank God. The longer you're married, the less you can care about your fights or remember your fights. It's a blessing.
It is. But it wasn't that day because whatever was going on, I just didn't like the way we were talking to each other. And isn't that crazy? It's never really about what you're arguing about that causes you to get mad at each other. It's the
way
what's said
you're
and the way you're saying
saying
it.
what you're saying.
That's so wrong.
But it is what it is.
You said it, right?
What?
I've been telling you that since our day we got married. I've always said, Mary, don't focus on what I'm saying, how I'm
but
saying
there
it.
are
Excuse
books
me.
and resources that can help you say it
But you
better.
always said, no, it's not about what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. But you just admitted it's never really about, yes.
Is this a gotcha question?
That is, I got it. I got you. Okay, so here's the point. What is it that we're saying when we say, I hate that you talk to me that way?
Wow.
Yeah.
From my perspective, are we jumping in?
Yeah, just pretend we're other people.
Okay, we're not going to fight.
No.
Okay. Just pretend we're other people?
But that's why Ashley's here.
She's going to
protect
keep
me,
it.
just in
Thank you.
case you come at me. Go.
Unbelievable.
Go ahead.
What was the question?
What do we mean? What are we trying to get across when we say I hate when you talk to me that way?
Okay, so first of all, men and women don't talk or process the same at all.
Not at all.
And women are way more tender. Usually, we live in Miami. There's some pretty strong women in this city, but for the most part, women don't like to be belittled or talked down to or talked to like she's a little girl. And I can only speak from my perspective. I remember when we first got married, what did I used to say to you all the time when we'd argue? What was the one thing I'd always say?
Don't talk to me like you're my dad.
You are not my dad.
That's right.
But you would always talk to me like, Mary, don't do that. You would talk to me like you were my dad. Or if I'd say, let's go get ice cream. We don't have money for, how could you even ask that we're going to go get ice cream? And it wasn't that we couldn't have ice cream or that we needed to budget. It was always the way you said that to me. And I would get so mad at you because I would think, I can handle the truth of the fact that we can't afford $3 for ice cream. But you could say it like, hey, babe, maybe it's better for us that we save that money and not get ice cream tonight. How do you think about that? What do you think about that? That's how I envisioned that you should stop and package everything for me to hear it from a better perspective so that I could absorb it and digest it better.
Okay, so that makes sense. You know what I'm hearing when I think to myself, I hate when she talks to me that way.
Yeah.
I hear, forgive me, but I hear a man trying to talk to me in a certain way.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because in a guy's mind, we're not thinking a woman is going to say that. She's not going to, she's not going to front me that
or
way.
Or challenge you.
She's not going to challenge me that way.
No, it's true.
And so what's amazing, this is where we try to tell young people all the time, beauty is only skin deep. Because when a guy hears a pretty woman front him or feels as though she is disrespecting him,
right?
Man, he doesn't see her looks anymore.
She's ugly now.
She could get pretty ugly quick. And
isn't that funny?
That's crazy.
And women don't know that.
No.
Women do not know that. How many women are on the workforce right now and they're working with a whole lot of men and they do not understand that they don't want you to talk to them like
that
a man.
Yeah.
Not in a challenging way.
No. Now I understand gender confusion a little bit right now.
Do you?
Where a woman can become a man like that.
Oh,
and a man can become a woman just like that by talking. No, I was kidding. on that last comment. Not to offend any men out there, but it is. It's all in the way we hear it.
It is.
And this is in our home. And this actually spills over here into the office.
Right.
It's the communication that we have as husband and wife that now have to work together on a regular basis.
And it's hard.
And yes, it is.
It's very hard because it is almost impossible, especially when you're learning each other, to put your own feelings aside when you're in a stress moment, or it might not even be a stress moment. It just might be one is stressed out more than the other, and the wife approaches the husband and asks something sweet, and she gets a harsh answer back.
Yeah.
And she hates it when he talks to her that way. I know for you and me, over the years that because you are a different personality and a more of an aggressor in certain areas, things get you a lot more intense. I'm not intense at all. I have a few things that I am intense about, but you don't have to tell me, what is that scripture verse?
I can't read your mind.
I can't think of the word all of a sudden. Turns away wrath. A soft answer.
Oh, yes.
A soft answer turns away wrath. I would think that all the time. If he would just have a soft answer, I wouldn't be mad. Well, the truth was, I'm not a mad person. That's not my personality.
Okay, you see that person right there? That was never the person that I saw on the inside of you when we would have those discussions.
I got my dukes up.
And it came out in the way you were talking.
It came out.
Never saw this innocent,
No.
my gosh, I don't want him to hurt me kind of a thing.
No, we don't, because we don't know how to communicate that to each other, especially when we're so young getting married.
And you never saw that, a soft answer turns away wrath.
When?
When I was like, you didn't really.
It never
try
worked
a soft
in the
answer,
moment.
and it never worked.
It never, ever works in the moment. No, I don't know why.
But that's where comic routines come from. Because in the conversation and communication of men and women, husband and wife.
Oh my gosh.
That's the best.
Yeah, you're on two totally different planets.
That is. And Mary, I guess, in the long run here, that's not a bad thing.
No.
It surely shouldn't be a deal breaker.
No.
Because of the way he talked to her. And so it may be a bone of contention.
Right.
And we're not in Eden here, in the perfect garden environment, even in beautiful homes. You have those times where this may be your thing. Some couples, every couple has a thing that they have to contend with. And I would say over the years, this has probably been our thing because we have other things that are so good. But this right here can turn the good bad in a minute.
Yeah.
And then, you'll go for 3 days without talking to me and stuff.
I used to. I don't do that anymore.
But no, I'm kidding. Now, this roles reverse. I'm almost like the one that don't want to, don't want to talk for a couple hours anyway.
It's funny, though, I will say, that you go from protecting yourself in the beginning of a relationship and the way you're spoken to. And I really think if I go back and I process it and analyze it from where I was when I felt that way the most versus now, it's because I took myself too seriously. And I was still trying to prove that I was this adult and I was smart and I was intelligent, and you're making me feel terrible about myself just because of the way you'd say it. But then when I would really look at it, at what you said, okay, yeah, you're right, but, well, that was immaturity.
Right.
And then you would say, I talk how I talk, Mary. This is me. This is how I am. Okay? This is how men are. That's what you used to always say. This is men. Get around other guys. You see, we talk like this. Look at men on the football field. Oh, it would make me so mad because in my mind, I was really more focused on really how it made me feel. It was really about me and not about what was being said. It was about how, literally, you made me feel.
Yep.
And if I would separate me from it and go, well, that's a you problem. If you can't be sweet and be nice, that's a you problem. That's not me. You're stressed. Are you okay? Are you all right? And vice versa. When I would get in my difficult days, you were a lot more prone, because I think men are, to go, okay, she's not having a good day. We were watching our honeymoon video the other day, and there's a moment, you have the camera on me, and I am not smiling, and I don't know what mood I was in, but I am not smiling, and it did not affect your joy at all. You even say into the video, oh, she's not in a good mood. I don't know what mood Mary's in, and you keep going in the video, filming our entire Mexico honeymoon, having a blast with that camera all by yourself, even if I was moody. And the reality is, for we women, sometimes we can get too deep in our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And we do make it about the way you're saying it versus what you're saying. And I think in that regard, it's probably better to think more like a man and not be so sensitive to our feelings.
Yeah. Well, we're not relationship experts.
No.
Definitely not communication experts and counselors. I'm a terrible counselor. But
me too.
I do think a part of this is pretty common and normal.
Sure.
And it's okay. It's okay to not do a make or break, do or die scenario when you don't like the way your spouse is talking to you or even your business partner. You know, anybody you're in a good, long-lasting relationship with, it's going to be different communication methods. That's all that's to it.
Yeah.
Some are just going to be more reserved and keep things to themselves and never say something until it just bottles up inside of them and they explode. Some are just never going to act like it ever bothers them. And you never hear about anything, only to find themselves down the road years later so filled with hurt and stuff. And you're like, well, why didn't you say something?
Yeah, they just
then you got other
up.
people like myself that feels like, it's not so much that, I just got to say it because I know it. It's like, this is my communication with you.
Right.
And our communication is, we have to realize it's all personalized. It's got our own thumbprint on it. It is what it is. And as long as it's not abusive.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's not what we're talking about.
No, we're not talking about that.
No,
we're not talking about somebody who curses and uses the F-bomb.
Gets in your face and all that. No.
Pushes you around and tries to intimidate you. That right there is a conflicted personality person. Right. Anybody that has to do that, they're conflicted.
Yes.
And they're high level of conflict. And you gotta keep some serious boundaries up with them. But most people, after one or two or three arguments, you know where the person is. And if you're still having dinner the next day or breakfast the next day after the blow up the night before, you know what? You may be able to just realize, okay, this is who we are.
Right.
This may be our weakest point. I'm not going to make this a deal breaker. I love her. I love them. I want to be with them. You know what? If this is the worst that it gets, we can tolerate it every so often.
That's right.
And what we have found is on the front end of our relationship and marriage, it was never, you never saw my strong side before we were married, because every guy knows, no, let me save my best hand on the front end of this relationship. Once I get her married, it's a little different.
I could be myself.
I could be myself. So you didn't see it then, but you did see it in that first couple of years of marriage, where then our communication differences started to play out. One thing for you was you were raised pretty much with women.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anything about. That's a good point.
That's crazy.
Thought you would have been more sensitive.
But my dad was strong.
You know what? Your dad was. Your mom was too.
Yeah, they were both strong when it came to communication. Matter of fact, one time I ran into a guy, and I must have been I was in my 50s. So not too long ago, I ran into a guy at the store, and he says, I remember Alessi. We lived down the street from you, and we could hear your family all the time arguing.
Oh, my word.
Because my mom and dad would go at it.
They'd fight.
They
Italian,
were strong.
Irish blood.
Kind of, you marry your mom.
But they stayed together.
Of course.
And my parents never fought and got divorced.
Different kind of communication, though.
That's it.
Ours was, our laundry was aired out.
Yeah.
Even the neighbors saw it.
Well, clearly.
But yours was not. Yours was
that's why.
Yours was what?
Swept under the rug.
Never wanted to discuss that.
Because of the way you're saying things to me. And I had to learn when we first got married and we'd have those arguments. And it's amazing how you do go in your room and you start processing a lot, and reality does start to hit you. Those conflict moments are good for you because they do a little surgery in your heart. But I can remember realizing, well, hold on a minute. Steve is honest. He's saying what he wants to say. I can too, and be respectful at the same time. But the truth is, he's just saying what he wants to say to me without feeling like there's eggshells or he's worried that he can't say what he feels. I need to be as honest as I need to be, because the reality was in my family was a lack of honesty led to the destruction of a relationship. Mm-hmm. And it really doesn't matter how you say it. Just say what you want to say. Yeah. Just don't cross the line and be disrespectful.
And funny, your family, songwriters, wordsmiths.
Well, you see,
Yeah.
because we packaged words. And there are a lot of people, though, that do feel, there's a lot of people, there's been books written about it, that making sure you say things in a specific way so that the hearer can hear it and receive it is important. At the same time, when we are in real time in a relationship and there's stress and there's a lot going on, we need to give each other grace in those moments to either hear it the wrong way or to have said it the wrong way, and to be couples that forgive quickly.
Yeah. And don't hold on to it forever.
Yeah, that's so destructive.
I remember I had to learn this lesson. And grace is a beautiful gift to give each other.
Yes.
Because I had to learn somewhere along the line that, first off, as much as I would say something like, well, you shouldn't feel that way.
Right.
Right? I had to learn that if it's your feelings, you're owning your feelings. So you know what? I got to respect that. I may not agree with it, and I don't want you to have it. I don't want you to always walk around on eggshells, or I don't want to have to walk around on eggshells because of your feelings. We had to work through that. So we couldn't, you had to toughen up a bit, and I had to be a little more sensitive. But at the same time, when it came to your feelings, I could not say to you, you shouldn't feel that. Shouldn't feel that way. That in itself would take the argument to another 30 to 40 minutes.
Whole nother level.
Because you hated me saying you shouldn't feel that way.
Right.
But so I had to learn, you know what? It's her feelings.
Right.
And they are her feelings. They're real to her. May not be real to me because I'm over here thinking, well, I feel like you shouldn't feel like that way. So I'm going by my feelings telling you don't go by your feelings, which is stupid. So I had to say, respect her feelings.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with them, but they surely can't be denied. They are your feelings.
They're my feelings in the moment, and I'll process them. But that's where I think, giving each other room, and the earlier you can learn this in your relationship, the better. Oh my goodness. I think we did pretty good considering all we had going against us with parental problems that we had on the outside. But we were hard on each other in the beginning. And a lot of that was just internal struggle. It didn't even have anything to do with you and me as a unit. We loved each other, but we both were struggling internally. And a lot of times that happens in couples. And we see it even in pastoring our church, meeting younger couples, that they fight more because they're struggling individually with what their expectations are, their frustrations are, and then they take it out on their spouse, and then it becomes something that it's not. And when you can stop and isolate that and go, wait a minute, this is a me problem. This isn't a you problem. I started it. How many times that you talk to me that way? I hate that you talked to me that way. I would look later on when the feelings faded and go, I started that. Mm-hmm. That was me. I shouldn't have even why would I expect anything different? That? Because you don't give up your best material.
Never heard that. This is a confessional.
Well, no.
Oh, wow.
No, it's not. Is this mic on? Is there a re-recording?
Let me say this, though, babe. I don't think it's healthy to ask, as long as it's not abusive.
Right.
I don't think it's healthy to ask a man to get so sensitive with his thoughts and words and so on, to speak women speak. You know what I'm saying?
Is crazy to ask a man to do that.
I don't think it's healthy.
It's not.
For a wife to say, speak to me like I want to be spoken to like another woman.
No.
And it's not healthy for a man to look at his wife and say, okay, speak to me like a man. That's not going to ever happen.
Or I'm going to only hear you if you say it the way I will receive it.
Yeah. If a woman tries to speak like a man to a man, the man's going to probably punch her. Because that's usually what ends up happening. He just sees another man.
Absolutely.
And it's not good.
Right.
So the point there is, I think each partner, husband and wife, has to come to grips with, this is my communication, my way of communication. I don't want it to be abusive. I don't want it to be neglectful either.
Right.
So I'm going to have to figure out a way to either soften it or be tougher, stronger, and more secure so that in what is being communicated is being communicated. Right. What is being said is being communicated, and it does not become a bone of contention.
Right.
So the issue is not left swept under the carpet and unresolved. No, you deal with it, But you've got to both look at each other and say, okay, this is how my wife processes and thinks, and this is how my husband processes and thinks, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So then the second part to that, though, is how do we now say to the kids that are watching this theater of events and hearing it,
all the drama,
how do we help them say, okay, kids, this is dad, this is mom. The good side of it is when they communicate, but when we get loud or we cut each other off or we start to cuss or something like that, how do we make sure the bad part of communication is not being passed on while we still leave the door open for learning how to communicate?
Well, honestly, I think healthy homes have arguing. I think you got to have arguing to be a healthy home. So how do you teach kids to resolve their issues when they're going to get into arguments? I mean, kids fight the most with their siblings.
Yeah.
The whole point of it is we're going to reach a conflict resolution. We're going to reach resolve. And we're going to talk about it. We're not afraid to talk about it. What dad said made me mad. What mom said made me mad. Okay, you heard that. And you know what? The old school is none of your business with your kids. Mom and dad are having a moment and we're working it out. But then you work it out.
You got to work it out.
You got to come out of the room with your boxing gloves off. You can't try to console your children and bring them into your relationship because now dad's taken off in the car and he's mad and he ran off and mom is, hit the mic. And mom is, everything's fine. Oh, no, everything's fine. And brushing that under the rug. I don't think you teach your children well, but I don't think you expose them to the argues and fights either. I think there's a healthy balance. Self-control is a huge part of that. You've got to have self-control for the kids, but I don't think that I remember us talking to a couple a long time ago. I'll never forget it, that he was right when they were bringing us their scenario. We're both sitting in the office and he's telling us the scenario and she's got her arms crossed, convinced that she had it down on lockdown, 100%. She was right and he was a bad guy because they would argue in front of the kids. And you and I are both processing. We don't have the heart to tell her we argue in front of the kids. Now, we don't go crazy.
Yeah.
We don't have screaming matches and fights. But what he was saying was healthy and what she was saying was not healthy. And it was really at a point of no return for them because she had just so convinced herself that honesty with the kids was destructive. Meanwhile, she didn't realize you're not teaching your kids how to resolve an argument.
Yeah.
And they're meant to be resolved. And usually what happens is they'll come full circle. You'll be petty, you'll bicker, you'll fight. Kids will hear it. And like every kid does, Mommy, Daddy, you're going to get broken up. Our kids did it.
Yeah.
And you pull them in and go, guys, we're just fighting. You guys fight, but we are working it out.
Yeah.
And you teach your kids that fighting doesn't end in breaking.
Yep.
It just means we're humans. We're people. We get mad at each other. We get out of control sometimes, but not too out of control. But then we work it out.
Yeah.
And we move on and we love each other more.
Right. Well, I agree. I think that's good advice to anybody's in that kind of environment with their kids. It's not bad to keep them close to you while you go through those times of disagreement where they do, however, see there's some kind of resolve without there being this ultimate do or die, make or break scenario, because then they will be insecure and be afraid to express their own opinions and feelings.
And we're not talking about out of control marital issues, because like you said, we're not counselors. We're just talking about the petty stuff that can lead to worse stuff. If you have issues in your marriage and the kids are crying and they're in a fetal position in the corner every time, knock that off because that is damaging. Don't do that in front of the kids.
Most marriages break up, relationships break up over the little things.
It is, Steve, always.
And then, the big things may manifest later down the road, but it was the little thing
that led to the big thing.
To it. And so the arguments where you actually look at someone and say, I hate when you talk to me that way, that could break something up if a person doesn't realize that we all hate when people talk to us a certain way.
Right.
Hey, when I get pulled over by a cop, I don't like the way they talk to me.
Get pulled over by...
Not anymore.
Okay.
I don't like the way sometimes a person at the counter of the store talks to me or a waiter or we're not, it's a part of life. You just don't like it when people talk to you a certain way and it's normal, but it should not break up a relationship as we come at this thing from a healthier viewpoint,
Right.
it's part of communication. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's quiet.
Yeah.
But I would say don't put it out there and be so afraid that if you do speak your mind in whatever way you do, then you got to be insecure about the relationship.
No, I think that's...
You don't want to sit on that stuff.
No.
You don't want to be so passive and so quiet that you never say a thing.
Right.
And then you don't want to be so loud and so aggressive that you become abusive. You have to find a real healthy balance.
And if you don't communicate, you really won't know where the lines of respect are on both sides. You have to communicate and have those conversations. And sometimes they will get heated to know where the boundaries are and what best serves your relationship.
Yeah, because we can't read each other's minds.
Oh my goodness, no.
And that's almost moving into a whole nother subject of prejudging something or somebody by something they're not saying.
Right. It's true.
That's kind of nuts. Well, this has been very helpful for me.
Has it?
Yeah, because now I know what buttons to push for you.
Unbelievable.
How about this? We just finished Mother's Day and Father's Day, right? Okay. Question.
What?
Who got the better gift?
Well, you got many gifts. I got one. I did. I got the better gift.
Who got the most expensive gift?
I did.
Oh, yes, you did. And
but there's reasons for that.
Why?
I told them specifically what I wanted. I didn't send them little Amazon $17.99 nose razor kits. See, that's on you, mister.
It's an ear razor.
That's on you.
It's for your ears.
And your nose, you know. Listen, you don't understand how you got to work these kids.
Yeah. What? Oh, communication.
You don't get it.
Oh, my gosh.
You don't get it.
Communication, manipulation.
I need to teach you for next Father's Day.
It's the best way to get your gifts.
No.
I'm going to start working on Christmas right now.
You better. I can help you. Now that our kids are adults and they have to buy us stuff.
You got it.
I'll show you.
Well, Mary did get the better gift. It probably cost about 5 or 6 times more than mine. But who washes the cars? Who's
the trophy wife?
Okay, we got to go. It's getting deep in here. Thanks for joining us on another podcast of the Alessi family.
I needed that person.
Business, the TFB.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and click on the notifications bell so you can be notified for all of our future videos. And if you loved today's topic, we have plenty more. And you can click on this link right here to watch all of our videos so you can learn why family is everybody's business.